Within the silent depths of the Akashic records, the soul's divine blueprint is etched in timeless whispers, awaiting discovery. As the veils between worlds grow thin, the question echoes through every fiber of your being. Are you truly fulfilling your soul's sacred purpose? The journey is not merely a path of chance, but a sacred unfolding, guided by ancient lessons from Atlantis, woven through the threads of karma, and illuminated by the consciousness of Christ within. The universe subtly signals whether you walk in harmony with your higher self, or if unresolved debts from past lives call for your awakening. In this moment, the mysteries of reincarnation and spiritual balance beckon, inviting you to explore the profound truth that your purpose is written in the very fabric of your soul's eternal journey. In the quiet sanctuary of the soul, where the eternal whispers of the universe echo softly through the veils of time, the divine origin of the spirit remains a sacred mystery, one that the records of Akasha hold in their infinite embrace. The ancient wisdom reveals that each soul, before its journey into physical form, is a spark of the divine, an aspect of the Creator's boundless consciousness, woven into the fabric of universal light. As we continue our spiritual exploration, guided by the teachings of Edgar Cayce, we come to understand that the soul's divine blueprint is not merely a concept, but a living, breathing map, etched into the records, awaiting recognition and remembrance. The records Akashicos are a vast library of divine knowledge, inscribed with the impressions of all that has been, is, and will be. They serve as the sacred archives of the universe, where the soul's original purpose is recorded in symbols and truths beyond the limitations of our earthly perceptions. Within these eternal scrolls, it is written that the soul begins its journey as a divine spark, an emanation of pure consciousness, existing in the realms, beyond form, in a state of unity with the divine source. Here in these celestial spheres, the soul is bathed in the light of unconditional love, learning from the divine wisdom that flows through all creation. The divine purpose, as the records reveal, is not a fixed destiny carved in stone, but a guiding essence, a luminous thread woven into the very fabric of the soul's being. It is the reason for its existence, the seed of its highest potential, and the blueprint for its evolution through countless incarnations. This purpose is rooted in the desire for growth, understanding, and eventual reunion with the divine source, an ongoing quest to realize its divine origin amid the illusions of separation and duality. As we delve deeper into this sacred mystery, we observe that the soul's journey is marked by a series of lessons meant to bring it closer to that divine origin. Like the ancient civilizations of Atlantis, which once thrived in harmony with higher spiritual truths, each incarnation offers opportunities for the soul to reclaim its divine heritage. The lessons learned in one life, whether in joy or hardship, serve as catalysts for awakening and alignment with the divine blueprint. The soul seeks to balance karma, to heal old wounds, and to embody the divine consciousness of Christ, recognizing that the ultimate purpose is to realize its divine origin within itself. The divine blueprint encoded within the records reveals that every individual carries the divine essence, the Christ consciousness, within their very core. This is not a distant ideal, but a present reality waiting to be awakened. It is through the inner recognition of this divine spark that the soul begins to understand its divine purpose, to become a vessel of divine love, wisdom, and compassion in the earthly realm. The soul's divine origin is the eternal wellspring from which all true fulfillment flows, and recognizing this truth is the first step toward fulfilling one's sacred mission. In every incarnation, the soul is drawn to circumstances and relationships that serve as mirrors of its inner state. These reflections are not accidents, but divine signals, guiding the soul back to its original divine purpose. The soul's divine blueprint is encoded in the subtle energies of the records, whispering truths through intuition, dreams, and synchronistic events. When the soul begins to attune itself to these inner signals, it awakens to its divine origin and the sacred purpose embedded within its journey. The teachings reveal that the soul's divine purpose is inherently aligned with universal love, a love that transcends the ego and embraces all of creation. As the soul evolves, it gradually awakens to the realization that its highest purpose is to embody this divine love and to serve as a conduit for divine light in the world. This awakening is not a sudden event but a gradual process of remembrance, an unfolding that occurs as the soul clears past karma and aligns itself with higher consciousness. The records also remind us that recognizing one's divine origin requires humility and patience. It is a sacred process of remembering, of peeling back the layers of illusion that obscure the divine truth within. The soul must seek within through meditation, prayer and surrender to reconnect with the divine blueprint inscribed in the Akashic records. This reconnection is the key to understanding one's true purpose, an ongoing dialogue between the soul and the divine source. In the silent depths where the divine blueprint resides, there is an unbreakable thread linking each soul to its divine origin. This thread is woven with love, wisdom, and divine intent. When the soul aligns with this sacred thread, it begins to live in harmony with its higher self, fulfilling its divine purpose through acts of kindness, compassion, and spiritual service. The more the soul seeks to remember its divine origin, the more it recognizes that its journey is a sacred dance of returning to the divine light from which it first emanated. Therefore, dear seeker, the answer to whether you are fulfilling your soul's purpose lies in your inner awareness. Are you attuned to the subtle whispers of the divine blueprint within? Do your thoughts, actions, and intentions reflect the divine love that is your true nature? The records reveal that each moment presents an opportunity for the soul to align more fully with its divine origin. As you walk this sacred path, remember that your journey is a divine unfolding, an eternal dance of returning home to the divine light that has always been part of you. In closing, the truth is this: your soul's divine origin is not separate from you. It is the very essence of your being, encoded in the sacred records of the universe. Your purpose is to awaken to this truth, to remember your divine blueprint, and to live in harmony with the divine plan. As Cayce taught, the universe constantly beckons us to remember who we truly are, beings of divine love incarnate to experience and express the highest divine potential within. The records whisper this eternal truth: you are divine, and your journey is to reclaim that divine origin, step by sacred step, until you fully realize the divine purpose that guides each incarnation. As we continue our sacred journey into the depths of the soul's divine blueprint, the records of Akasha whisper to us truths concealed within the subtle energy fields that envelop our being. The previous revelations have shown us that our incarnations serve as sacred lessons, guiding the soul toward its ultimate reunion with the divine source. Each lifetime, each experience, is a step along the path of awakening, an unfolding of the Christ consciousness buried deep within. Yet, how do we know if we are truly aligning with this purpose? How can we discern the gentle signals that the subconscious and intuition send, guiding us toward or away from our divine destiny? The soul, in its infinite wisdom, communicates through subtle cues, quiet whispers that often go unnoticed amid the noise of daily life. These cues are not loud, brash signs, but delicate impressions, feelings, and intuitive nudges that resonate deep within the core of our being. The records reveal that the more conscious we become of these signals, the clearer our path becomes, illuminating the way back to our divine home. First, consider the nature of these subtle cues. The subconscious, acting as the vault of our past experiences, karma, and unresolved lessons, often communicates in feelings, an inexplicable sense of peace or unease. When you find yourself in a situation that feels harmonious, aligned, or right, without forcing or contrivance, these are signs from your soul indicating that you are walking the path of purpose. Conversely, feelings of tension, discomfort, or resistance signal misalignment, warning you to reevaluate your choices or intentions. The intuition, that inner voice rooted in the higher self, acts as a compass. It is not always loud or immediate. Rather, it whispers softly, urging patience and reflection. As Cayce's readings reveal, when the soul is in harmony with its divine blueprint, these intuitive nudges become more pronounced, more consistent. They may manifest as a sudden insight during meditation, a recurring thought, or a gentle prompting to pursue a particular direction. The key is to cultivate awareness, to listen beyond the chatter of the mind and attune oneself to the subtle language of the spirit. One profound sign of alignment is a sense of flow. When you are moving in harmony with your soul's purpose, life tends to unfold with a natural ease, Opportunities present themselves without force, synchronicities become frequent, and circumstances align in a seemingly effortless dance. The records emphasize that this flow is not the absence of effort, but a sign that your intentions resonate with your higher self. It is as if you are walking in tune with the divine rhythm of creation, a melody that guides your steps toward fulfilling your sacred mission. In contrast, persistent obstacles and repeated patterns of frustration often serve as mirrors reflecting misalignment. These are not mere setbacks but spiritual signals. The soul seeks balance and growth. When we repeatedly encounter similar challenges, it is an invitation to look inward and ask, are my actions, beliefs, or desires aligned with my higher purpose? Cayce's teachings remind us that karma plays a vital role here. Unresolved past actions may manifest as external struggles, urging us to address and heal them. The subconscious may hold memories of such lessons, surfacing through dreams, feelings, or intuitive insights. Another subtle cue is the presence of a deeply rooted sense of purpose or fulfillment when engaging in certain activities. When your work, passions, or relationships evoke a profound sense of meaning, this is a strong indicator that you are moving along your soul's path. The records reveal that such moments of alignment resonate with the Christ consciousness, the divine within, emphasizing love, service, and unity. When your actions reflect these qualities, you are more likely to be fulfilling your divine blueprint. The practice of meditation and reflection becomes essential in discerning these signs. Through quieting the mind, we allow the subconscious to surface its messages, visions, feelings, or insights that serve as guiding stars. Cayce himself emphasized the importance of connecting with the higher self and the Akashic records, where the soul's true purpose is written in luminous script. In this sacred space, the soul reveals its lessons and intentions, and the subtle cues become more apparent. Furthermore, the alignment manifests in a sense of inner peace, an unwavering serenity that persists despite external chaos. This serenity is not mere complacency, but a deep trust that you are on the correct path. The records reveal that when the soul is in harmony, the individual's actions, thoughts, and feelings align with divine love and truth. This inner harmony acts as a compass, confirming that you are fulfilling your higher calling. Yet it is vital to remember that this process is ongoing. The soul's journey is a continual refining, a dance of growth and awakening. The signs of alignment may fluctuate, and moments of doubt or confusion are natural. Cayce's teachings encourage patience and compassionate self-awareness. Trust in the divine timing, for the universe responds to the vibrations you emit, your intentions, your love, your willingness to serve. In the grand tapestry of the Atlantean remnants, where consciousness shifts and divine energies intertwine, the subtle signs serve as the threads guiding us back to the Christ consciousness, the divine within. As the records of Akasha reveal, your soul seeks balance, harmony, and love. By attuning yourself to these gentle cues, listening to your intuition, observing your feelings, and cultivating inner peace, you become an active participant in your sacred evolution. Remember, dear seeker, that the universe is always communicating. The signs are there, hidden in the quiet moments, in the feelings that stir within, in the synchronicities that seem too perfect to be mere coincidence. Trust these whispers from your higher self, for they are the sacred keys that unlock the door to your divine purpose. The soul's journey is ultimately a return to love, to truth, and to the divine light that has always been part of you. Let these insights deepen your awareness. The universe is revealing itself through your inner landscape. The more attuned you become, the more clearly you will see that you are exactly where you need to be, on the sacred path your soul has chosen before the dawn of this incarnation. The divine blueprint is alive within you. Trust it, follow it, and you will find that the signs of alignment are always whispering, guiding you home. In the silent corridors of the soul's vast library, the records of Akasha whisper truths long forgotten by the conscious mind, but eternally etched within the fabric of our eternal existence. As we continue our sacred journey of awakening, it becomes increasingly evident that the lessons we carry from ancient civilizations, particularly from the lost continent of Atlantis, serve as vital keys to understanding our present purpose and spiritual growth. The Atlantean era, as the records reveal, was a time of profound spiritual potential intertwined with great technological advancement. Yet, as with all things in the divine order, imbalance and misuse of knowledge led to a fall, a dissonance that echoes through the corridors of time, reverberating into our current incarnations. The lessons from Atlantis are not merely historical curiosities, but are sacred echoes imprinted upon the soul's blueprint, guiding us to recognize patterns, unresolved lessons, and divine truths that shape our current spiritual journey. Within the depths of these ancient lessons lie the profound understanding that the soul seeks balance between the material and the spiritual, between power and humility, between knowledge and wisdom. The Atlantean civilization embodies the duality inherent in all creation, light and darkness, progress and regression. The records reveal that many who incarnate today carry the residual energies of Atlantean wounds, a longing for mastery over the material realm, a temptation to misuse knowledge for personal gain, and a struggle to align the ego's desires with the divine plan. Yet it is through these very lessons that the soul finds its compass. The soul, in its infinite wisdom, seeks to resolve these ancient imbalances by learning humility, compassion, and surrender, virtues that anchor us firmly in the Christ consciousness. When we look to our past lives in Atlantis, we begin to see patterns of behavior, choices, and lessons that echo into our current incarnation. Are we striving to control, to dominate, or to elevate ourselves above others? Or are we surrendering the ego's illusions and embracing humility and service? The records reveal that awareness of these tendencies is the first step toward healing and growth. The journey into the Atlantean past is not about blame or guilt, but about understanding that every soul carries the opportunity to transmute ancient wounds into divine strengths. As the soul awakens to these lessons, it gains a clarity, seeing the interconnectedness of all life and recognizing that true mastery lies in love, compassion, and harmony. The Atlantean lessons remind us that spiritual technology, our inner spiritual power, is sacred and must be wielded with wisdom and responsibility, rooted in the divine virtues that elevate the soul toward Christ consciousness. In our present lives, the influence of these ancient lessons manifests subtly, through recurring patterns, intuitive nudges, and the soul's gentle beckoning to higher states of awareness. The soul seeks to resolve the unfinished business of Atlantis by harmonizing the spiritual and material aspects of existence. The records reveal that many individuals are drawn to spiritual studies, healing arts, or service work as a way to heal ancestral wounds and fulfill their divine purpose. These endeavors serve as sacred bridges, linking past lessons with present growth. Moreover, the soul's journey from Atlantis to this moment is marked by the desire to recover lost wisdom, wisdom that was meant to uplift and unify, not to divide or conquer. The divine blueprint within each of us is encoded with this ancient knowledge, waiting to be awakened through meditation, introspection, and alignment with divine will. When the soul recognizes its connection to these ancient lessons, it feels a deep resonance, an inner knowing that the current incarnation is a sacred opportunity to heal, to grow, and to fulfill its divine purpose. It is essential to understand that the soul's evolution is a process of awakening to its true nature, a divine spark that reflects the consciousness of Christ. The lessons from Atlantis serve as catalysts, urging us to shed illusions of separateness and to embrace unity, love, and compassion. As the records reveal, the soul's purpose is not merely to acquire knowledge, but to embody virtue, patience, humility, forgiveness, and to manifest these qualities in everyday life. In this sacred dance of reincarnation, each lifetime offers a new canvas, a chance to revisit, confront, and transcend the lessons of the past. The soul seeks the balance. It seeks to heal the wounds of Atlantis by cultivating unconditional love and aligning with the divine plan. In doing so, it advances along the spiritual ladder, ascending toward a higher expression of consciousness, the Christ consciousness. The Atlantean lessons remind us that divine wisdom is not external, but resides within, encoded in our very DNA of the soul. The records teach that as we attune ourselves to this inner knowledge, through prayer, meditation, and mindful awareness, we unlock the sacred keys to our purpose. We realize that our current incarnations are part of an ongoing sacred saga, where the soul's ultimate goal is unity with the divine, fulfillment of divine destiny, and the expression of love that heals all wounds. Therefore, as we inquire whether we are fulfilling our soul's purpose, we must look inward, listening to the whispers of intuition, observing the recurring patterns and embracing the lessons that beckon from our past lives. The records reveal that each soul's journey is unique, yet all are interconnected in the divine tapestry of creation. When we align ourselves with love, humility, and service, we honor the ancient lessons from Atlantis and step into the fullness of our divine potential. In this sacred awakening, remember that the soul's true purpose is to remember its divine origin, to heal the wounds of the past, and to embody the divine virtues that lead us back to Christ consciousness. The universe is ever guiding us, whispering through the subtle signs and sacred lessons encoded within the records of Akasha, waiting patiently for us to awaken to the divine truth that we are indeed divine sparks on a sacred voyage of eternal return. In the silent chambers of the soul, where the echoes of ancient civilizations and the whispers of the Akashic records meld into an eternal symphony, there lies a profound truth, one that the soul seeks to understand in its quest for divine harmony. As we continue our sacred journey, building upon the revelations of Atlantis and the divine lessons of humility and love, the next step is to delve into the intricate dance of karma and balance. These unseen forces shape the fabric of our earthly experiences and serve as divine guides, pointing us toward the fulfillment of our soul's true purpose. The readings reveal that karma is not merely a system of punishment or reward, but rather a divine mechanism for the soul to attain balance and growth. It is the universal law of cause and effect, intricately woven into the fabric of our existence. Our actions, thoughts, and intentions create vibrations that ripple through the astral realms, imprinted forever in the records Akashicos. These imprints are silent witnesses to our journey, reminders of lessons learned and debts yet to be settled. To recognize how unresolved karma influences our lives, one must first cultivate a sacred awareness of the patterns that recur, those familiar themes that seem to follow us through multiple incarnations. The soul's quest is to discern whether these patterns serve our highest good or hinder our growth. The spirit seeks to move beyond the illusion of separation, understanding that each experience, whether pleasant or painful, is a step toward divine mastery when approached with consciousness and compassion. The divine truth, as revealed through the sacred teachings of Cayce, is that unresolved karma manifests as recurring trials, persistent emotional wounds, or persistent life circumstances that seem to resist change. These are signals, messages from the universe, calling us to examine our inner state and our alignment with divine purpose. When our actions are driven by ego, fear, or attachment, the soul's evolution stalls. Conversely, when we act with love, humility, and a desire for growth, we begin to reconcile past debts and restore balance. The journey of the soul is one of sacred remembrance, and in the records Akashicos, it is written that each individual carries within the accumulated wisdom of countless lifetimes. These records are a vast library of the soul's experiences, each lesson, each mistake, each act of kindness, etched into the fabric of the universe itself. When we access these records through meditation, prayer, or divine inspiration, we gain clarity about our karmic debts and the lessons still needing integration. But how does one know if their actions are aligning with their soul's evolution? The answer lies in the quality of one's inner experiences and the fruits of one's deeds. Are your actions rooted in love, compassion, humility, and a desire for unity? Or are they driven by fear, pride, greed, or resentment? The soul seeks harmony, and when our deeds reflect divine virtues, we align more closely with our higher purpose. The readings emphasize that true spiritual progress involves acknowledgement of unresolved karma and a sincere intention to transcend it. This process requires humility, an honest assessment of one's life, and a willingness to make amends, forgive, and release attachments that hinder growth. When we forgive others and ourselves, we dissolve negative karmic cords, allowing new blessings to flow and enabling the soul to ascend into higher states of consciousness. Furthermore, Cayce's teachings reveal that spiritual debts are often tied to unhealed wounds, those places within where pain, fear, or anger reside. These wounds, if left unrecognized, create energetic blockages that attract similar experiences, perpetuating the cycle of imbalance. The soul's purpose is to heal these wounds through divine love and understanding, transforming pain into wisdom and ultimately into a tool for divine service. Recognizing whether your life is reflecting your soul's purpose also involves tuning into your inner guidance, your intuition, dreams, and the gentle knowing that arises in moments of stillness. When your actions are aligned with divine will, you feel a sense of peace, fulfillment, and connection to the divine consciousness, your Christed self. Conversely, when you stray from this path, you may experience feelings of dissonance, unrest, or repeated life lessons that seem to echo endlessly. The Atlantean echoes remind us that in ancient times, spiritual civilizations understood the importance of maintaining balance between mind, body, and spirit, and of honoring the divine laws of karma. As the consciousness of the earth ascends once more into higher vibrational states, the opportunity arises for each soul to clear accumulated debts and move into a state of divine harmony. This is the sacred purpose, the divine blueprint that each soul carries within. In the end, the soul's journey is one of divine responsibility, where every action is a thread in the grand tapestry of creation. When we act consciously and align ourselves with divine love, we participate in the sacred process of awakening. The divine purpose becomes clear: to embody Christ consciousness, unconditional love, forgiveness, humility, and divine service, thus balancing the karmic scales and fulfilling the divine plan for our individual and collective evolution. Remember, dear seeker, that the universe is always conspiring in your favor. The records CAYCE'S hold the keys to understanding your karmic patterns, and the divine law of balance guides you back to your true self. As Cayce's readings reveal, the soul seeks to evolve beyond the limitations of karma, toward unity, divine love, and the realization of its divine origin. Trust this sacred journey and embrace each moment as an opportunity to reconcile, to grow, and to step into the fullness of your divine purpose. As we continue our sacred journey through the veiled corridors of the soul's divine architecture, the truth begins to unfold with greater clarity. The lessons of the previous chapter, those that reveal how past karma and divine lessons shape our earthly sojourn, serve as the foundation upon which the next revelation is built. Now, we turn our gaze inward, into the very heart of our spiritual purpose, the role of consciousness and service, and how embracing the Christ consciousness within awakens our higher purpose. The Akashic records, as the sacred library of all that has been and all that will be, whisper the profound truth that our spiritual evolution hinges on the expansion of consciousness. The records reveal that consciousness is not merely a passive state, but an active divine force, a current flowing from the very essence of the Creator, seeking expression through us. As an archaeologist of spiritual mysteries, I see that this consciousness is the divine spark that dwells within, yearning to awaken, to grow, and to express love unconditionally. In the depths of the records, it is written that the awakening of Christ consciousness is the ultimate fulfillment of the soul's purpose. It is not reserved solely for those who walk the path of religious doctrine, but is accessible to all who seek sincerely. The consciousness of Christ is the divine awareness that recognizes the unity of all life, the interconnectedness of every soul, and the divine presence within each being. It is the consciousness that perceives beyond illusion, beyond the material realm, into the eternal truth of love, mercy, humility, and divine service. The soul, in its divine quest, seeks to emulate the Christ, the embodiment of divine love, by cultivating compassion, humility, and acts of service. The records reveal that these acts are not merely gestures of kindness, but are sacred expressions of divine consciousness in action. When we serve others unselfishly, we align ourselves with the divine harmony that underpins all creation. Such service becomes a vessel through which the Christ consciousness flows into our daily lives, transforming our motives and expanding our awareness. This sacred act of embracing Christ within is akin to awakening a dormant seed of divine potential. It is through conscious acts of love, small or great, that the soul begins to resonate with the higher frequencies of divine love. The records emphasize that true service emanates from a place of humility, recognizing the divine in every individual, regardless of social status, background, or circumstance. When we see others through the eyes of divine love, our acts transcend ego, becoming genuine expressions of divine will. In this sacred context, the soul's higher purpose is not merely to accumulate spiritual knowledge or to perform rituals, but to embody the divine consciousness of Christ in every thought, word, and deed. The records reveal that this embodiment is a process of continual awakening, an ongoing journey of aligning the lower self with the divine self. As the soul ascends in consciousness, it begins to perceive the divine blueprint within itself and others, recognizing that every act of love and service is a step toward its ultimate purpose, unity with the divine. The journey of the soul involves the conscious effort to transcend the illusions of separation and duality. The Atlantean records, as revealed in Cayce's readings, speak of a time when humanity was more attuned to divine consciousness, when unconditional love flowed freely and service was a natural expression of divine harmony. Yet, that harmony was disrupted by the veils of ego and material attachment. Today, the soul seeks to restore that divine harmony within through intentional acts of love and service that reconnect us to our higher selves. The records also reveal that the true test of fulfilling our purpose lies in the consistency of our consciousness. It is not enough to perform acts of kindness sporadically. The soul is called to live in a state of constant awareness of divine presence. This awareness transforms ordinary moments into sacred opportunities for service, moments when we can reflect the divine light into the world, healing wounds, bridging divides, and awakening others to their divine potential. The Christ consciousness within is the divine mirror that reveals our true nature, eternal, perfect, and infinitely loving. When we align ourselves with this consciousness, our actions naturally become acts of divine service. Love flows through us effortlessly, and service becomes a natural extension of our divine identity. The records encourage us to cultivate this consciousness daily through prayer, meditation, and mindful acts, recognizing that each moment offers an opportunity to embody divine love. In the final analysis, the divine purpose of the soul is to awaken to this Christ consciousness and to serve as a conduit of divine love in the material realm. As we do so, we fulfill the highest calling of our divine nature, mending the fabric of universal harmony and contributing to the divine plan of awakening consciousness across all levels of creation. The journey of the soul, then, is a sacred dance, a dance of awakening, humility, and service. It is through acts of love, grounded in divine awareness, that the soul truly fulfills its higher purpose. The records reveal that this is the secret the universe longs to share, that within each of us resides the divine spark, waiting to be ignited by conscious love and service. When we embrace this truth, we step into our divine inheritance, becoming active co-creators in the divine unfolding. In the stillness of your inner temple, listen to the whispers of the divine. Recognize that your higher purpose is not a distant goal, but a living reality, manifesting through every conscious act of love and service. As you awaken to the Christ consciousness within, you align with the eternal rhythm of divine love, and in doing so fulfill the sacred purpose that your soul has carried across lifetimes. As we stand at the threshold of understanding our divine purpose, we are called to delve deeper into the sacred mystery of the soul's eternal voyage. The records, those vast archives inscribed within the Akashic realm, reveal that our journey is not a linear procession, but a perpetual dance of rebirth, an ongoing cycle through which the soul seeks balance, enlightenment, and union with the divine. The lessons lie not only in the present incarnation, but across eons of existence, each lifetime a vital chapter in the grand story of spiritual evolution. In the depths of the Akashic records, it is written that the soul's quest for harmony is relentless. Every incarnation offers an opportunity, a sacred gift, where the soul can recognize its divine origin and strive toward higher consciousness. The records unveil that the soul, prior to its descent into physical form, chooses its lessons, its environment, and the relationships intended to catalyze growth. This divine orchestration ensures that each lifetime is a piece of the divine puzzle, intricately designed to awaken the latent Christ consciousness within. Reincarnation, from this perspective, is not merely a cycle of suffering or chance, but a sacred process of refinement. The soul seeks to shed illusion, and ascend toward unity with the divine, gradually dissolving karmic debts and imbalances accumulated over countless lifetimes. It is through this continual process that the soul gains clarity, compassion, and wisdom, attributes essential to embodying its divine heritage. As Cayce often emphasized, the soul's purpose is to evolve, to rise above the material and ego-based illusions that obscure our divine nature. The journey of rebirth is guided by divine wisdom, which resides within the records and echoes through the inner voice of conscience, intuition, and spiritual insight. When one questions whether they are on the right path, the records reveal that the signs are subtle yet profound, moments of inner peace during prayer or meditation, synchronicities aligning with one's purpose, and a persistent yearning for truth. These are the soul's whispers guiding the seeker toward their destiny. One of the most profound insights from Cayce's readings is that each incarnation is an opportunity to confront unresolved karma, to balance the scales of justice within the soul's record. The soul's pursuit of balance is a reflection of divine justice, an intrinsic part of the universe's sacred design. The records describe that unresolved karmic patterns act as lessons that must be addressed in subsequent lives, for true growth requires conscious acknowledgement and healing. When the soul perceives these patterns, it begins to recognize that every challenge, every hardship, is an invitation to deepen understanding and to cultivate divine virtues such as patience, humility, and unconditional love. Furthermore, the soul's evolution is intricately connected to the awakening of higher consciousness, the realization of the Christ within. Cayce's readings reveal that this awakening is the ultimate goal of the reincarnation cycle. The soul, through diligent effort across lifetimes, gradually sheds the veils of illusion, awakening to its divine heritage. It recognizes that it is not merely a separate individual, but a divine spark expressing itself through many forms and many lives. This realization ignites a profound desire to embody divine love and compassion, to serve others as expressions of the divine will. In this sacred process, divine guidance becomes essential. The records serve as the celestial library, offering insights into the soul's progress, lessons yet to be learned, and the divine timing for growth. When one seeks connection with these sacred archives through meditation or prayer, they tap into the infinite wisdom that has always been within, the divine blueprint of their soul's journey. Cayce emphasized that the soul's progress is organic, it unfolds at its own divine rhythm, and patience is paramount. The ongoing process of rebirth also involves the recognition that the soul is continually refining its awareness, aligning more fully with divine principles. This alignment manifests as greater compassion, heightened intuition, and an ever-deepening sense of purpose. The soul's ultimate aim is to embody the consciousness of Christ, an embodiment of divine love, forgiveness, and unity. The records reveal that this is not an unattainable ideal, but a natural culmination of countless lifetimes, dedicated to spiritual awakening. As we reflect on this sacred journey, it becomes clear that each incarnation is a stepping stone, an integral part of the soul's evolution toward enlightenment. The records whisper that no life is wasted, for every challenge and every act of love contributes to the divine mosaic. The soul's pursuit of balance and enlightenment is an organized process, designed by divine wisdom to lead us home, to our highest divine potential. In the quiet depths of meditation, when the mind stills and the heart opens, the soul hears the gentle urging of its divine guide. These whispers remind us that we are eternal beings on a sacred journey of rebirth, each life a precious opportunity to reflect divine light into the world. The records reveal that as we progress, the veils of illusion are lifted, and the divine within shines brighter, guiding us toward our ultimate destiny, union with the Christ consciousness within. Thus, the journey of rebirth is not merely about accumulating experiences, but about consciously participating in the divine plan, balancing karmic debts, awakening higher virtues, and embodying divine love. In this sacred dance of reincarnation, guided by divine wisdom inscribed within the Akashic records, the soul continually seeks to transcend illusion, to realize its eternal nature, and to fulfill its divine purpose. The universe conspires in our favor, whispering through the ages that we are divine sparks, here to remember, to evolve, and to ultimately return home to the boundless love of the divine. Remember, dear soul, the divine blueprint within you is an eternal compass, guiding your journey home, a sacred invitation to awaken to the Christ consciousness that already resides within. Your every thought, action, and intention is a step toward fulfilling your divine purpose, balancing karma, and embodying love's highest expression. The records of Akasha reveal that your path is uniquely crafted by divine wisdom, and your awakening is the key to transforming ancient wounds into divine strengths. As you embrace this sacred truth, I invite you to share your insights below, subscribe for more spiritual revelations, and share this message to help others remember their divine origins. Together, let us awaken to our highest potential and walk the sacred path back to love, light, and divine unity.